Everyone meet the new owner of Blackwood Estate. My granddaughter, Elena. What? She came back? She's even more beautiful than the photographs. Elena stepped beside her grandfather, trying not to stare at the hundreds of guests filling the ballroom. Then Arthur Blackwood raised one hand. In 7 days, Elena will choose the man she marries. The room erupted. Elena, you never told me this. I didn't know. Arthur continued. Any man who wants her hand must bring me one thing, proof that he would protect this family when money, reputation, and comfort are all at risk. Across the ballroom, wealthy sons began whispering, I've already won. You wish. Near the servants' entrance, Noah turned away. His sister Maya caught his arm. Don't. Don't what? Look at her like that. I can't help it. Noah, you repair cars behind our rented house. Those men own companies. I don't want her money. That won't matter to her grandfather. A voice snapped behind them. Maya, why are you standing around? Her husband, Victor, threw his coat into her arms. Get my car ready. I'm entering the challenge. Maya went pale. Noah stared at him. You're married. Victor smiled. Only if somebody tells them first. For 1 second, Noah thought he had misheard him. Maya did not move. She stood beside the servants' entrance, holding Victor's coat against her chest, her fingers tightening around the fabric. Victor leaned closer. And nobody is going to tell them. Noah stepped forward. You think you can walk into that ballroom, pretend to be single, and marry Elena while my sister stands here carrying your coat? Victor's smile disappeared. Lower your voice. No. Maya grabbed Noah's arm. Please. He looked at her. There it was. Fear. Not embarrassment. Not anger. Fear. Victor saw him notice. His expression hardened. If either of you says one word, I'll make sure both of you are out of this house before sunrise. Noah laughed bitterly. You don't own this estate. Not yet. Then Victor walked toward the ballroom. Noah stared after him. Not yet? Maya whispered. Leave it. No. Noah. He turned. What does that mean? She looked toward the ballroom doors. Victor was already greeting businessmen as though he belonged among them. Maya. She lowered her eyes. He's been planning this for months. Noah felt something cold settle in his stomach. What? He knew Elena was coming back. How? I don't know. He knew about the marriage challenge? I think so. Noah looked at her. You think so? Victor started talking about Blackwood Estate 6 months ago, about Arthur getting older, about Elena being the only heir. And you said nothing? Maya flinched. Noah regretted the accusation immediately. Her marriage had already taught her to flinch too easily. I'm sorry. She shook her head. You should be angry. At you? At everybody. Noah looked toward Victor again. What does he want? Maya laughed without humor. What do you think? Before Noah could answer, applause exploded from the ballroom. Arthur Blackwood had taken the stage. Victor was standing in the front row. Elena stood beside her grandfather. She looked beautiful, but she did not look happy. Noah had known Elena years ago, before London, before the private schools, before Blackwood Estate became something people whispered about in magazines. They had been children then. She used to climb the old oak tree behind the stable in expensive dresses her grandmother hated. Noah used to wait below because Elena was terrible at getting down. One summer, she fell. He caught her badly. They both landed in mud. Elena laughed for 10 straight minutes. Then her family sent her away to boarding school. Noah never saw her again, until tonight. Arthur raised a glass. The first challenge begins tomorrow morning. The room quieted. You will each receive the same amount of money. Several men smiled. Arthur continued. $1,000. The smiles faded. You have 24 hours to turn it into something that helps another person. A man near Victor whispered, That's ridiculous. Arthur heard him. Yes. Then you laughed nervously. Arthur did not. Anyone can make money when they already have money. I want to know what you do when the amount is too small to impress anyone. Elena glanced at her grandfather. For the first time that evening, Noah saw a faint smile on her face. Victor did not smile. He was calculating. Noah knew that look. He had seen Victor wear it at card tables, at pawn shops, at the kitchen table when Maya asked where the rent money went. Arthur raised one finger. One more rule. The ballroom quieted again. You may not use your own money. Victor's jaw tightened. Not $1. A wealthy young man near the front raised his hand. What if we already own businesses? You may not use them. Another asked. Can we use employees? No. A third said. What exactly are you testing? Arthur looked at Elena. Character. Then he stepped away from the microphone. The orchestra resumed. Guests began talking. Noah turned to Maya. Tomorrow. What? I'm telling Elena. Noah, please. Victor is committing fraud. He'll ruin us. He's already ruining you. Maya's eyes filled. You don't understand. Then make me. She looked around. Not here. They slipped through the service corridor and entered the small greenhouse behind the kitchen. Rain tapped softly against the glass. Maya closed the door. Then she pulled up her sleeve. Noah stopped breathing. Bruises circled her wrist. Old yellow ones. New purple ones. His face changed. Maya. He doesn't hit me all the time. Noah stared at her. She heard herself. Closed her eyes. I know how that sounds. Why didn't you tell me? Because you would have done exactly what you're doing now. What? Gone after him. Yes. And then what? Noah said nothing. You think men like Victor lose cleanly? She pulled her sleeve down. He has debts. He knows people. He lies easily. When he's scared, he becomes dangerous. Noah's voice dropped. How much does he owe? I don't know. How much? I really don't know. Maya. I found a notice in his desk. What notice? A foreclosure notice. Noah frowned. For what? Our house. He stared. The rented house? She shook her head. Noah, it isn't rented. His face emptied. What? Victor bought it 2 years ago. With what money? My inheritance from Mom. Noah felt his stomach drop. Their mother had left Maya $40,000. Maya told Noah she had placed it in savings. Victor had apparently placed it somewhere else. You signed? He told me it was an investment. And now? The lender can take it. Noah stepped away, trying to breathe. Victor wasn't simply chasing Elena. He was cornered. And a desperate man standing beside a billion-dollar inheritance was more dangerous than an ambitious one. Maya whispered, He thinks if he marries Elena, everything disappears. Noah looked at her. Does Elena know he's married? No. Then she finds out tonight. Maya grabbed his arm. Noah. He turned. If you tell her, Victor will know it came from us. So? So he has copies of something. What? Maya's face went pale. I don't know exactly. Noah stared. Maya. He told me if I ever tried to leave him, he'd make sure you went to prison. Noah laughed once. Then realized she wasn't joking. For what? He says he has proof you stole from the repair shop. Noah's anger stopped. What? You didn't? No. I know. What proof? He showed me bank transfers, invoices, your name. Noah thought quickly. He had worked at Blackwood Auto for 6 years. Cash passed through that shop every day. Vendor accounts, parts orders, customer deposits. If Victor had access somehow, Noah remembered something. 3 months earlier, Victor had asked to borrow his laptop, said his phone was dead. Noah had given him the password. He felt sick. He framed me. Maya started crying. I think so. Now the trap was complete. Victor had not only silenced Maya, he had prepared insurance against Noah. Noah looked through the greenhouse glass toward the estate. Elena was visible through the ballroom windows, laughing politely with guests she probably did not know. A woman about to be handed to the most convincing liar in the room. I'm still telling her. Maya wiped her face. Then we need proof first. Noah looked at her. That was different. Fear was still there. But something else had joined it. Decision. All right, he said. Proof. The next morning, 32 men stood on the east lawn of Blackwood Estate. Each received an envelope containing $1,000. Arthur Blackwood watched from the terrace. Elena stood beside him. Victor opened his envelope, counted the money, and immediately began calling people. Noah watched from the maintenance shed. He was not officially part of the challenge. He had not been invited. He had not even considered entering, until Elena saw him. She crossed the lawn. Noah? He turned. For one irrational second, he considered pretending not to know her. Too late, she smiled. You remember me. How could I forget someone who almost broke my ribs falling out of a tree? Her smile widened. You caught me. You landed on me. Same thing. There it was. The girl from years ago. Still somewhere inside the heiress. Elena looked at his work shirt. You work here? In the garage. You always liked fixing things. Cars are easier than people. She laughed. Then her expression softened. I saw you last night. I know. You looked like you wanted to say something. Noah's body went still. This was it. Tell her. Maya. Victor. The marriage. The fraud. But across the lawn, Victor was watching. Not obviously. He was pretending to talk on the phone. His eyes were fixed on Noah. Noah remembered the fake bank transfers. Not yet. I was going to say welcome home. Elena studied him. That's all? No. Her eyes sharpened. Noah almost smiled. She had always been difficult to lie to. What else? He looked toward Victor, then back at her. Be careful who you trust. Elena followed his gaze. Victor smiled at her from across the lawn. She looked back at Noah. Interesting. What? My grandfather gave the men a challenge about character, and you're the first person this morning who warned me about someone without asking for anything. Noah stepped back. I should get to work. Elena, Arthur called from the terrace. She turned, then looked at Noah once more. We'll finish this conversation. He watched her leave. Victor appeared 30 seconds later. I warned you. Noah did not turn around. You talk to her again. I use the documents. Go ahead. Victor blinked. Noah faced him. If you think I'm going to spend the rest of my life scared of paperwork you forged, you miscalculated. Victor smiled. You always were emotional. And you always mistake silence for weakness. Victor stepped closer. Stay away from Elena. You're married. Not for long. Noah's hands curled. Victor noticed. Hit me. Noah stayed still. Come on. Victor leaned in. Give me exactly what I need. Noah understood. A fight would remove him from the estate. Possibly get him arrested. Victor wanted it. Noah stepped backward. No. For the first time, Victor looked disappointed. That afternoon, contestants returned one by one with stories. One had bought food for a shelter, another purchased school supplies, one paid an elderly woman's electricity bill, a third funded a street musician's recording session. Arthur listened. Elena listened harder. Then Victor stepped forward. He had turned his $1,000 into $12,000. The room erupted. Arthur raised an eyebrow. How? Victor smiled. I bought distressed inventory from a small retailer, resold it through private buyers, and donated the profits to a community clinic. Applause. Even Arthur seemed impressed. Noah was not. He knew Victor could not have arranged private buyers without outside connections. Elena asked, Did you use your own contacts? Victor smiled. The rule was not to use my own money. Arthur looked at him. The rule was also that you could not use your businesses or employees. I didn't. Contacts. You never forbade relationships. Arthur smiled slightly. Technically correct. Victor bowed his head. Thank you. Arthur announced that Victor had won the first challenge. Maya, watching from the service doorway, looked sick. Noah noticed something else. A man standing near the back of the room. Gray suit. Silver tie. He had been at Victor's house twice before. Noah remembered him. Lender. Maybe more. The man handed Victor a folded note when nobody seemed to be watching. Noah saw it. Victor saw Noah see it. Their eyes met. The game changed again. That night, Maya searched Victor's desk. Noah kept watch outside. 3 drawers. Nothing. Locked cabinet. Nothing. Then Maya opened the lining of Victor's travel bag. She froze. What? Come here. Noah entered. Inside the hidden compartment were 2 passports. Victor's. And another. Noah picked it up. The photograph was Victor. The name was not. Victor Hale. The passport he normally used said Victor Kane. Maya whispered, Who did I marry? Noah opened another envelope. Inside were copies of incorporation documents. 3 companies. Different names. Different addresses. Same signature. Victor had been moving money between shells for years. Then Noah saw one name that mattered. Blackwood Agricultural Holdings. He stared. That's one of Arthur's companies. Maya looked at him. How does Victor have this? Noah kept digging. There were emails. Some printed. One addressed to Victor. Once you marry the girl, authority shifts quickly. The old man's trust is amendable. No signature. Another. Do not mention the South acreage until after the ceremony. A third. If Arthur discovers the environmental report, the acquisition fails. Noah looked at Maya. This is bigger than Elena. What? He isn't trying to marry her just for money. Then the bedroom light switched on. Victor stood in the doorway. Neither sibling had heard him enter. He looked at the papers in Noah's hands and smiled. I was wondering how long it would take. Maya backed away. You knew. I hoped. Noah moved between them. Victor closed the door. Give me the documents. No. Victor reached into his coat. Noah tensed. Victor pulled out his phone. He pressed play. Audio filled the room. Noah's own voice. From the repair shop. Edited. I can move the money. Nobody checks those invoices. Noah stared. Victor smiled. That's only the short version. You cut that together. Prove it. Maya stepped forward. You're sick. Victor turned to her. And you're disappointing. Stay away from her. Noah. Victor tapped the phone. One email and your boss receives this. Police get the bank records. Everyone sees exactly what I want them to see. Noah held up Victor's false passport. And one photo of this destroys you. Victor's smile vanished. For the first time, they had leverage. Then Maya did something neither man expected. She grabbed the papers from Noah's hands and ran. Victor lunged. Noah tackled him. They crashed into the dresser. Run. Maya ran. Victor punched Noah hard enough to split his lip. Noah held on. By the time Victor got free, Maya was gone. So were the documents. Victor wiped blood from his mouth. You have no idea what you just started. Noah stood. Good. The second challenge was announced the next morning. Arthur gathered the remaining contestants. Today, each of you will be paired with someone who has nothing to offer you. Several men looked confused. Arthur continued. You will spend 6 hours helping that person solve one real problem. Victor was absent. Elena noticed. Where is Mr. Kane? Arthur looked toward his assistant. No response. Elena's eyes shifted toward Noah at the edge of the courtyard. Something was wrong. She felt it. Later, Noah was repairing a sedan when Elena entered the garage. He had not heard her. You're bleeding. He turned. His lip was swollen. Occupational hazard. You repair engines with your face? He said nothing. Elena shut the garage door. Noah. He kept working. Look at me. He did. Her expression changed. What happened? I can't tell you. Why? Because somebody else gets hurt. Victor? Noah went still. Elena caught it. I knew it. You don't know anything. I know he lies. How? The clinic. Noah frowned. What? The clinic he claimed he donated to yesterday. She held up her phone. It never received $12,000. Noah stared. How did you find out? I called. He almost laughed. You investigated him. You warned me. I told you to be careful. I was. She stepped closer. Now you tell me why. Noah looked at her for a long moment. Then he said, Victor is married. Elena's face emptied. To who? My sister. Silence. Not dramatic silence. Real silence. The kind where a person's mind rejects a sentence before accepting it. No. Yes. You're sure? I attended the wedding. Elena sat down slowly on a workbench. How long? 4 years. Why didn't she come forward? Because he's threatening her. Elena looked at Noah's lip. And you? Yes. She stood. We go to my grandfather now. No. What? We don't have enough. He's married. He'll deny it. Marriage records exist. Not under the name you know. Elena stared. Noah told her about the second passport, the shell companies, the Blackwood documents, the environmental report. Each new detail removed another piece of color from her face. Finally, she whispered, This isn't a marriage scam. No. He's after the estate. I think so. Elena looked toward the mansion visible through the garage windows. My grandfather announced this challenge only last week. Victor knew before that. How? I don't know. Elena's eyes changed. The answer frightened her. Someone inside the family told him. Noah nodded. Now the story had another question. Who? Maya arrived that evening. Not at Noah's house. At Elena's bedroom door. Elena opened it herself. Maya stood there holding a grocery bag. Inside it were Victor's documents. I'm Maya. Elena's eyes filled with something like embarrassment. I know. Maya looked surprised. Noah told me. Then you know. I know enough to say I'm sorry. Maya blinked. For what? For standing in a ballroom while your husband pretended you didn't exist. Maya laughed bitterly. You didn't know. I still hate that it happened. For several seconds, the two women looked at each other. Victim and intended victim. Then Maya entered. They spread the documents across Elena's bed. The environmental report concerned the southern acreage of Blackwood Estate, rare groundwater reserves, protected wetlands, and beneath that land, mineral deposits worth hundreds of millions. The estate was worth far more than Elena had ever been told, but development would destroy the water supply for 3 surrounding communities. Elena stared at the report. Grandfather would never approve this. Maya pointed to another document. That's why Victor needs control. Elena read. A proposed trust amendment. Upon Elena's marriage, certain voting rights could transfer to her spouse if Arthur became incapacitated. Her stomach dropped. He doesn't need grandfather to die. Maya looked at her. No. He just needs him unable to manage the estate. The bedroom door opened. Daniel Blackwood entered. Elena's cousin. Arthur's nephew. He saw the papers. Stopped. What is this? Elena covered the documents. Nothing. Daniel laughed. You're terrible at lying. Maya looked at him carefully. Elena asked, Did you tell Victor about the marriage challenge? Daniel's smile faded. What? Answer. No. Who knew before grandfather announced it? Family. A few advisors. Names. Elena. Names. Daniel frowned. Me. Aunt Celeste. Gregory Shaw. Grandfather's lawyer. Estate counsel. Maya's face changed at one name. Gregory Shaw. Daniel looked at her. You know him? Maya nodded slowly. He came to our house. When? 3 months ago. Elena's blood went cold. Gregory Shaw had managed Blackwood family assets for 15 years. He had been beside Arthur at every major meeting. The enemy wasn't outside. Someone had opened the door. The next morning, Arthur announced the 3rd challenge. Only 12 contestants remained. Victor returned. Clean suit. No bruises visible. He smiled as if nothing had happened. Arthur said, This challenge is simple. The men waited. You will each receive one secret about another contestant. Victor's eyes narrowed. You may use it to eliminate him. A murmur ran through the room. Arthur continued. Or you may refuse. Elena stared at her grandfather. What was he doing? Arthur smiled. I want to know what power does to you when nobody can punish you for using it. Each man received an envelope. Victor opened his. Then looked directly at Noah. Noah was not a contestant, so whatever was inside concerned someone else. Victor smiled. Across the room, another contestant received something about Victor. The man read it. His face changed. Arthur asked, Will anyone use what they received? One man stepped forward. Yes. He exposed another contestant for bribing a judge years earlier. Eliminated. A second revealed secret gambling debts. Another man went home. Then came Victor. Arthur looked at him. Mr. Kane? Victor held up the envelope. I choose not to use mine. The room murmured approvingly. Elena nearly laughed. Arthur nodded. Why? Because everyone deserves the chance to be judged for who they are today. Applause. Victor looked at Elena. Performing morality. She now understood how dangerous a man became when goodness itself was simply another costume. At the end of the challenge, Arthur announced Victor as one of the top 3. Noah watched Elena leave the room furious. He followed her into the library. You okay? No. Good. She looked at him. What? Means you're paying attention. She almost smiled. Then didn't. My grandfather likes him. For now. He thinks Victor showed restraint. He showed strategy. Elena turned toward the window. There are 4 days left. Noah said nothing. She faced him. If we expose Victor now, Gregory Shaw may disappear. Noah nodded. So we wait. I hate waiting. I know. You remember that? You hated waiting for anything when we were children. You remember everything. Not everything. What did you forget? Noah looked at her. How to stop loving you. Elena froze. He hadn't meant to say it. At least not aloud. Her voice softened. Noah. I know. No. You don't. You're about to marry someone from that ballroom. I don't want anyone from that ballroom. Your grandfather. My grandfather doesn't choose my heart. Noah looked away. Elena, this isn't the time. Maybe timing has always been our problem. She stepped closer. You disappeared. I didn't disappear. Your family sent you away. You could have written. I did. She stopped. What? Noah looked at her. I wrote you every month for a year. I never got anything. Now he froze. I mailed them here. Elena's breathing changed. To the estate? Yes. Who handled the mail then? Noah thought. The answer arrived slowly. Gregory Shaw. Another old thread tied itself to the new one. Why would Gregory have hidden letters between 2 teenagers? Unless even then he was managing who Elena was allowed to trust. Elena whispered, How long has he been controlling things? That night, they searched old estate records. Daniel helped. Maya helped. Noah stayed close. They discovered Gregory had approved payments to Victor's companies years before Victor ever met Maya. Consulting fees, property assessments, research. Victor had been working for Gregory long before he entered their family. Then Daniel found something worse. A medical invoice. Arthur Blackwood. Private cardiac treatment. Elena frowned. Grandfather never had heart surgery. Daniel looked at her. No. The payments weren't for surgery. They were for medication. A drug that, in the wrong dosage, could cause confusion, weakness, and memory problems. Elena sat down. No, Maya whispered. You said Victor only needed him incapacitated. Noah stared at the invoices. Somebody had been purchasing medication through a private clinic in Arthur's name. Gregory had authorized every payment. They went to Arthur immediately. This time they didn't wait. Arthur listened without interrupting. Victor's marriage certificate. False passport. Shell companies. Environmental report. Gregory's payments. Medication. When they finished, the old man remained silent for a long time. Then he said, Gregory. Elena knelt beside him. Grandfather. Arthur's eyes filled. I trusted him with your grandmother's funeral. That was what broke him. Not money. Not land. Funeral arrangements. Trust is often measured by the ordinary things we allow someone to carry. Arthur pressed one hand to his chest. Noah moved. Sir? Arthur swayed. Elena screamed. Grandfather. Everything happened fast. Ambulance. Doctors. Tests. The medication in Arthur's system was not what his regular physician had prescribed. Someone had been slowly altering his dosage. Not enough to kill him quickly, enough to weaken him, enough to eventually make a legal argument that he could no longer manage his own affairs. Gregory Shaw disappeared before police reached his home. Victor did not. He still arrived at Blackwood Estate the next morning. That surprised everyone. Elena confronted him in the grand hall. "You're either very brave or very stupid." Victor smiled. "Your grandfather is ill. Everyone is emotional. You poisoned him." "No. Gregory did. No proof. You worked for him. Consulting. You married Maya under a false identity." Victor's expression changed. "Barely," Elena continued. "You forged financial records to threaten Noah. Nothing. You intended to marry me, gain access to Blackwood voting rights, and approve development of the South acreage." Victor stared at her, then smiled. "Now prove it." Elena understood. He believed Gregory had taken the evidence that mattered. Victor stepped closer. "You think you're clever because poor Noah told you a bedtime story." "Don't say his name." Victor laughed. "There she is." "What?" "The little girl who thinks love protects people." He leaned closer. "It doesn't." From behind him came a voice. "It does when love remembers to make copies." Victor turned. Maya stood at the top of the staircase. Beside her was Daniel, Noah, and 2 investigators. Maya held up a flash drive. Victor's face finally changed. She smiled. "You always said I was too stupid to understand your work." The investigators stepped forward. Victor backed away. The grand doors opened behind him. Gregory Shaw entered. In handcuffs. Victor stared. Gregory wouldn't look at him. One investigator said, "Mr. Kane, or Hale, depending on the document, we have enough." Victor laughed. Too loudly. "You have nothing." Maya came down the stairs. "I have 4 years." He looked at her. 4 years of messages, threats, recordings. Every time you thought I was crying too hard to notice what you said. Victor's expression became ugly. "You ungrateful." Noah stepped forward. Maya raised one hand. "Don't." Noah stopped. She wanted this. Maya looked directly at her husband. "For years you kept telling me nobody would believe me because you were richer, smarter, stronger." Victor said nothing. "You were right about one thing." He frowned. "I was scared." She smiled faintly. "I'm not anymore." Police took him. No fight. No dramatic escape. Just handcuffs. Sometimes the end of a monster is surprisingly quiet once nobody is afraid of him. Gregory and Victor were eventually charged with multiple offenses involving fraud, coercion, financial manipulation, and the scheme surrounding Blackwood Estate. The marriage challenge ended immediately. Arthur recovered slowly. For several weeks, he barely left his bedroom. Then one morning, he asked Elena to bring Noah to him. Noah entered wearing clean work clothes and looking more nervous than he had during any confrontation with Victor. Arthur studied him. "You love my granddaughter." Noah swallowed. "Yes, sir." "You have money?" "No." "Property?" "No." "Company?" "A toolbox." Arthur's mouth twitched. Elena folded her arms. "Grandfather. I'm interviewing him." Noah almost smiled. Arthur continued. "What can you offer her?" Noah looked at Elena. Then back at Arthur. "Nothing she can't give herself." Arthur's expression changed. Noah continued. "But if she chooses me, I can promise I'll never need her to become smaller so I can feel bigger." Elena's eyes filled. Arthur stared at him for a long time. Then he sighed. That's annoyingly good. Elena laughed. Does that mean you approve? No. Grandfather. It means I'm considering being less stubborn. That is approval. No. It absolutely is. Arthur pointed toward the door. Both of you leave. As they walked away, Arthur called, Noah. He turned. Arthur looked at him. You should have entered the challenge. Noah smiled. I did. Arthur frowned. What? I just wasn't competing with the other men. Elena took Noah's hand. Arthur saw it. This time, he did not tell them to let go. Months later, Maya filed for divorce. She did not move in with Noah. That mattered. For the first time in her life, she rented a small apartment by herself. She found work at a community legal center helping women understand financial documents before signing them. On her first day, Noah bought her flowers. She threw one at him. Don't become sentimental. Too late. Elena visited often. So did Daniel. Very often. Maya noticed. So, she said one afternoon, why are you here again? Daniel leaned against the doorway. Legal question. You asked me yesterday. Different question. What? Dinner. Maya raised an eyebrow. That isn't legal. Depends how you answer. She smiled despite herself. Ask me again in 6 months. Daniel grinned. So there's hope. Get out. He left smiling. 6 months later, he asked again. This time she said yes. Arthur never revived the marriage competition. When reporters asked why, he gave one answer. I discovered my granddaughter already had better judgment than I did. Elena framed that newspaper clipping. Mostly to annoy him. A year after Victor's arrest, the South Acreage became permanently protected land. Blackwood Estate placed the groundwater reserve into a conservation trust that could never be sold for private development. Noah still worked on cars. Elena never asked him to stop. He eventually opened his own repair shop with a small business loan he insisted on qualifying for without Blackwood money. Elena secretly wanted to help. Arthur warned her, if you love that boy, let him build something he can point to without wondering whether you built it for him. She listened. The shop became profitable. Slowly. Honestly. And on the 2nd anniversary of Elena's return, Noah took her behind the old stable. The oak tree was still there. Older. Wider. One branch had broken in a storm. Elena touched the trunk. I can't believe this survived. Noah looked at her. So did we. She smiled. Was that supposed to be romantic? I've had 2 years to improve. You need another 2. He reached into his pocket. Elena stopped smiling. Noah. What? If that's a ring. It is. She covered her mouth. You're ruining my speech. You had a speech? Yes. Sorry. He knelt. Elena started crying. Noah looked up at her. When we were children, I thought loving you meant waiting at the bottom of a tree so you wouldn't fall alone. She laughed through tears. Very heroic. I was 12. Continue. When you came back, I thought loving you meant protecting you from Victor. Her face softened. But I learned something. What? You never needed someone to rescue you. Noah took her hand. You needed someone who would tell you the truth, stand beside you when it got ugly, and still let you choose your own life. Elena whispered, That's better. So, he held up the ring. Elena Blackwood, would you choose me? She looked at the ring, then at the oak tree, then at the man who had once caught her badly enough that both of them landed in the mud. Yes. Noah blinked. That easy? Don't ruin it. He stood. She kissed him. From somewhere behind the stable came applause. Elena pulled away. Arthur, Maya, Daniel, 3 estate workers, even Noah's mechanic assistant. Elena stared. You invited everyone? Noah winced. Maya did. Maya shouted. You're welcome. Elena laughed. For once, nothing about the future felt like a challenge. No contest. No deadline. No men standing in a ballroom trying to prove what they could offer her. Just choice. Arthur had begun the story believing love could be tested like a business contract. Bring something valuable. Prove yourself. Win the woman. But by the end, he understood what Noah had known before any of them. Love was not about winning possession of another person. Victor had wanted Elena because she came with money, land, and power. Gregory had looked at the Blackwood family and seen assets to control. Even Arthur, with good intentions, had temporarily reduced his granddaughter's future to a competition. Noah was the only man who never asked what Elena could give him. He simply paid attention. And sometimes that is how the difference between love and possession reveals itself. One wants access. The other wants your freedom. Maya learned something too. For years, she thought surviving Victor meant being strong enough to endure him. It didn't. Real strength arrived the day she stopped enduring. Arthur learned that protecting someone without listening to them could become another form of control. And Elena learned that having power did not mean other people were entitled to decide how she should use it. But the strangest lesson belonged to Noah. The poor mechanic who spent the first night believing he had nothing beautiful enough to bring into Elena's world, eventually discovered that the thing she valued most had never been wealth. It was honesty. So let me ask you, if you were Elena and your grandfather announced that strangers had 7 days to compete for your hand in marriage, would you have accepted the challenge? And if you discovered the most impressive man in the competition was secretly married and planning to steal your family's estate, how long would you wait before exposing him? Tell me in the comments. Because expensive gifts can be borrowed, power can be stolen, appearances can be performed, but character eventually introduces itself, and when it does, pay attention.